What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know who it is by now. Jimothy. Now, ladies and gents, I thought I would have a short discussion. I just want to get your thoughts on what you think could be an introduction of an alternative format. Now, I watched a video by Team APS. I will leave a link in the description below, and basically what he was talking about was an alternative format. Now, the more and more I think about this, the more and more I think to myself, do you know what? It could potentially be a good thing, mainly because obviously in his video Paul was talking about Yu-Gi-Oh having one format, the advanced format, which is basically the format that we all know and love with regards to having ban list, cards rotating in and off the ban list, and just having every single card in a game be available. Now, there is obviously nothing wrong with that and definitely should exist in some form and some shape. However, I do believe an alternative format would actually be something that could potentially be really good, mainly because it allows for some of those weird, janky, unique, quirky decks that can obviously thrive in a format where there aren't all the power cards or the very oppressive decks running around kind of dictating the meta. Now, obviously at the moment we're seeing Drytron and we are seeing Virtual World at the moment have probably the most representation. That's not to say that rogue decks can't compete, because they definitely can. However, some of the weird janky decks that get printed are just not looked upon in any kind of light, because there's always a big focus on the meta. Now, the reason why I started to think about this was Blazing Vortex. It's got an archetype coming out called Warax, which I myself find very interesting. I think for myself it's something that I could possibly mess about with and incorporate and actually play, but to try and take it to any kind of competitive event, it's not really going to do that well compared to some of the other decks that are out there. And there's obviously nothing wrong with that, but it would be nice just to have a utility or some kind of use or some kind of arena in which to play these kind of decks. Now, another example I was thinking was my Appliancer deck. Very unique, very quirky, not very powerful by any stretch of the imagination, but definitely something unique. And I just feel like it's a bit of a waste to print those kind of cards and have those cards in the game and not really be able to effectively use them. Now, obviously you could create your own format like what I was planning to do with regards to like Hobby League and such, where certain cards are limited. You can't really play meta decks, you have to play rogue tier, etc, and that's all good and well, but there's nothing officially supported by Konami. Duel Links was a bit of a, well, Duel Links is obviously online, but Speed Duels was a bit of a write-off. It's got nowhere basically. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, ladies and gents. What do you think? Do you think there should be an alternative format, or do you think we should just continue in the same vein? I personally think just to be able to use some of those weird, wonderful, quirky, janky decks, we should have some kind of like format where they're encouraged to use those types of decks, where you can't access the meta cards, you can't access meta decks, for example, and you can't be so oppressive. There needs to be a bit more interaction, because typically how the game works at the moment, it's either go first and it just stop your opponent from playing basically, or you go second with just a flurry of break my ball styled cards, and it's not always the best time in terms of an experience. However, it is what we have come to know and love, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. So definitely, ladies and gents, get at me in the comment section down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. What would your suggestions be if we had an alternative format? What cards would you ban? Would you take anything off the ban list? Definitely get at me in that comment section below. Well, ladies and gents, we find ourselves at the end of another video. If you did like the discussion, you know what to do by now. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I will definitely see you guys on the next video. Hope you enjoy. Peace.